everyone, ndi Millicent Chiwara Makado, ndi mudhuru wa macheru uva Hamulima Venda, Limpopo, South Africa. Welcome back to my channel. And I haven't been doing this videos in a while now. I have been busy. I was shooting something. I'm an actress, obviously, financial planner, a baker. I run a social media advertising company. I also run consultations for those who want to know more about their spiritual journey, what to do, how to use the muti, and everything that they might be given by their traditional healers or sangoma, and they want to know how to use them. I am not a sangoma. My grandmother from my dad's side was a sangoma, and I used to work with her, so I know a lot of things. I am a Christian. I love God. I pray, I worship, everything. I know what is supposed to be done when you, for example, how to use vimbelas, how to use whatever type of muti that you might want to know. I also have people in the US, people in the UK who call me because they want me to buy different types of muti in South Africa, because it's very cheap in South Africa. The mutis are very cheap here. Like for example, vimbele is like 10 rand or 15 rands depending on where you're buying it, and I send to them via different channels. So if you want that, please do let me know. So yay, let's get right into this. Oh wow, I forgot to say please subscribe to my channel, because I mean, you're already here and obviously you love my content, so please subscribe. It's free to subscribe. It's free. You're not charged anything to subscribe, and I give you this. I talk about things that people don't want to talk about, and today I want to talk about single women who have kids with guys who the relationship didn't go well, and you're raising that child alone. That person is not with you, or a guy is around, he's probably taking care of his child, but he didn't pay Uphahla mwana, so the child uses your surname. Or like me, firstly, I will talk about my story, my surname. So my name is Millicent Chiwara Chiskawe Makado. So I'm Millicent Makado, right? Makado is not my real surname. My grandmother's surname was Legaba. She got married to a guy wa Macheru, and they had my dad, and things didn't work out, and they separated or divorced, and she went to marry someone from the Makado clan, which is the royalty. And back in the days, when you come with a child, they hlaula the child and the child changes their surname. My dad changed his surname from Macheru to Makado. Hence, we are called Makado. But I am not Makado, I am Macheru. My father's dad is Macheru Mposi from Hamulima. So that's why I always say I am Macheru. I am Macheru, Millicent Makado Macheru. But because I was raised by the Makados, I obviously acknowledge them, right? My dad was raised by the Makados. My grandmother got married to someone wa Makado. They had another son. So my grandmother has two sons. My dad, who was Macheru, but changed his surname to Makado, and then John was my brother's my father's younger brother. His name was John Makado. So there were only two. So it happens in life that maybe you have that same situation where you're not using your father's surname, whichever, however way, whatever the situation is, but you are not using your father's surname. You're using either your mother's surname, your stepdad's surname, like my dad, or you are using familiar but it's not your surname. So people always ask me, how do I then phahla? Who do I phahla to when I'm using the wrong surname? When I'm not using my dad's surname, who do I phahla to? My grandmother used to phahla to her father's side and her mother's side, right? Because her, obviously, with her all as well. And with us, what she taught me is that because I'm using a wrong surname, I have to first go to my mom. When I phahla, when I light a candle, for example, when I go to Sulu to want to an ant hill to want to connect to my ancestors, I have to connect via my mom. I have to connect to them via my mom. So when I kneel down, when I speak to them, I have to first call the ancestors, my mom's ancestors, and speak to them and ask them to connect me to my right channel, to my right ancestors, my father's ancestors, the ones that I know. I used to, okay, because mine is different. I knew who they were because we grew up. We knew my aunts. We knew my father's dad. We knew all those people. So it was easier for me to call their names because I know who they are. But you will find that you don't know who your ancestors are. You don't know who your father's side is. You don't even know their surname. Or maybe you know their surnames, but they're not close to you, or you don't use their surname. So you have to first call. Let's say I'm making an example. Ndikubidza badzimu baashu ba barara bamatongoni Baratsan Haramareba, which is my mom's side, and I speak to them and I call the one that I know. For example, my grandmother Bo Maria, I speak to her and I say, Gugu, I know you. I don't know the rest of the people, but I'm asking that Bandisere Sedi Lekanya, Nabadisena Badzimu Basedi Lekanya, and those ancestors and Kumbero connect no tangana with my ancestors from my dad's side that I know or that I don't know. Please bang connected now. Somehow, somewhere, once you do that, you start to have dreams about who your father is, about your side of your father. And every time when you do that, you call them, you call your mother's side and ask them to connect and ask them to speak for you and ask them to forgive whatever that was done, and for you to be able to be given an opportunity to use that surname so that you can combine both of them. And as you dream and dream and dream, you'll end up knowing the truth of who you are. Something will just come up. Your mother will say something. Some relatives, some neighbor will tell you about who your real father is, or you will know about that surname. And once you know what and who your surname is and who your dad is, when you go to your father, when you then go to phahla, because now you have this information, you simply go down, speak to your mother's ancestors and say, this is the information I have gathered. I found out about this one and this one and this one, and these are their surnames. And I am going to ask that you connect with these people and speak to them and in my life. And going forward, you're going to ask that you are allowed to call that surname and say, from my dad's side, macheru, mamang. These are the people, I don't know them, but I'm asking for them to acknowledge me as their child, and I'm gonna acknowledge them as my ancestors. I'm hoping this makes sense, because this thing is deep. Not knowing your real surname, especially when you're a single mom, and you want to phahla for your child. That's exactly how you're supposed to do it. You kneel down, you speak to your side, your mother's side. If I know my mother's side, for example, if my mom was doing it for me, she would speak to her father's side and her mother's side, because she knows both of them. She will speak to them and then call her side to speak to my side. But like I'm saying, with my side is different because my mom knows her side, my dad knows his side. It is only us that don't have the correct surname because my grandmother got married again and my dad had to change the surname, but we knew who they were. We knew my aunts from Bahamacheru, we knew the uncles from Hamacheru because they were around my dad. They would visit him, he would visit them, so we knew who they were. So it was easy for me when I, for example, Uphahla, I first speak to Bahamakado because those are the ones who took my dad as their own, raised him, fed him, did everything, and then I then thank them, those things. And I call my dad with with the surname Yamakado when I speak to him, because he was born Makado. He was raised by Makados. He was not raised by Macherus. But I also then say, when I'm done speaking to the Makados, I also acknowledge Bahamacheru and I ask them not to leave me, not to abandon me and think, I mean, I have something against them. I'm young. I don't know the stories. I don't know what happened. And I love them. And I loved my grandfather, Wahamacheru. I was even there when he was there when my dad was at my dad's funeral, at my grandmother's funeral. We even went to bury him in 2011. I was pregnant. So I knew him. I would call him. We had some kind of conversation, even though I was close to the Makado people. So I'm hoping all this makes sense, that you are not thinking, oh, I cannot Phahla because I don't have the right surname. You can Phahla. You can. It's very much allowed for you to Phahla, but just know which channel to use, because you can't just go and call people's surnames because oh, Pete Mukwena is my dad, therefore you just go kneel down, hey, I'm speaking to Batubahabo Pete Mukwena, and they must come, they must protect me. You must first go to the right channel and speaking to your mother's channel and connect them, allow them to be the ones that connect those two ancestors together, because there was nothing done for you to be acknowledged, or for you to be acknowledged as their child. Yeah, this is a very deep topic, because a lot of people are going through that in life, but I'm hoping that this helped you, and that if you have any more questions regarding this, you can WhatsApp me. My number is 063 552 8385. I will write it as +27 so that even those who are outside can be able to connect me. So it's +27 63 552 8385. You can WhatsApp me for more information if you are not really understanding, and for consultations, and if you want whatever muti that needs to be used for whatever it is that you might be going through.